you see Brock Feeney call me out again?
I did see that. Since he's grown a beard, he's also grown some balls, I reckon, and he's having a go. So
got some attitude, that young bloke.
A little bit of attitude, so good on you, bro.
We're very, this is what gets me in trouble sometimes, very transparent with our audience. I read the messages out, so we were told in those messages that we don't need to ask your permission.
No rights.
We can do whatever. You have no rights, you don't own your content. They called me last week to ask for permission. Kai Allen got his first dub.
I called it.
You actually did. You texted me straight away too. I was so annoyed by that.
The Hunter messaged me going, Barbs, you called it on socials. I was like, shit, I did too.
Feedback was Brock should have locked it down in that moment at the Melbourne Grand Prix instead of getting on the gas. He got so much, like, Beardo did a video about it, almost being like, this is like the worst, these kids today, this is like the worst thing we've ever seen. We're going to stamp it out of our sport. We're going to come down hard. And then this hasn't even been a headline about the behaviour behind the wheel. And that was pure frustration and intent.
Oh no! He's in the fence! The boat's in the fence! They're all in the fence! Oh, unbelievable!
Sound check, episode 117.
Sound check. Oh, 117 bars. We're getting old. Cheers, mate. You're on the South Australian brew.
I am Coopers. Go on the originals. I was in South Australia on the weekend, so I thought, you know what? Why not? I had one over there. I have one tonight.
Must be good. The best comes out of South Australia. But we are here for episode 117. This is an absolutely stacked episode. We are predominantly Supercars tonight. They're at Ruapuna. It was a banger of a race. But we've also got a few little updates out of Formula One land that we will run through just with what they've done with the rule changes, the regulation changes in the lead up to Miami.
We do. We've also got NASCAR straight out of Kansas and IndyCar out of Long Beach.
Long Beach is badass.
Love it. Love the circuit. Would love to drive around there. They do stadium trucks around there too. That would be wild.
I haven't seen the stadium trucks getting around in a little while, but Long Beach is one. I mean, any street circuit in a supercar would be unreal, but that's probably one of the coolest ones. Even the opener for the coverage on Stan it just reminded me of like old IndyCar, like those Champ Car days. The type of music they played, I had FOMO not being there.
Yeah, and that fountain with the dolphin, they did like a really cool cut, like, and you had this dolphin fountain and it cut
right.
the cars. It does look amazing. I wouldn't probably want to drive it in a supercar, to be honest. I'd rather an IndyCar or something like that. But
yeah, not fortunate.
The GT race was cool.
Yeah.
Actually, shout out to Robert Wickens. I think he was on second or pole in the Corvette, which is amazing.
That guy is an absolute freak. Yeah. He was one of so in DTM, he was a maestro. Then he came over to IndyCar and obviously had his incident. But as a rookie, he was smashing it in IndyCar already on the ovals as well. One of the drivers to pick it up, kind of like Scotty Mack picked up the ovals fast. But Robert Wickens had freak accident. Like, it was huge. And obviously, not obviously, but you may know he had spinal injuries and has lost the ability. I think he's
not I think it's
quadriplegic maybe. But he's racing again, and similar to Zanardi, he's just as good behind the wheel still. Obviously has that natural talent that has continued because he's mega in the GT
amazing
car as well. So
I watched his onboard of his quali lap and he's driving for Chev in the Corvette. I know we've sidetracked a little bit, but I just thought it's worth a mention because, oh my God, the guy is absolutely wheeling that thing. And yeah, he's just inspirational and amazing. So just shout out on that. I thought that was really cool.
I do wonder what makes a race car driver special. Because I've had mates that play in the AFL say, like, what makes Max good? Like, they're race fans too. Just like, what makes him so... honestly, I have no idea. And Robert Wickens is one of those guys that, like, you know, it might be... Like, you sometimes think about how you see people talking about how they heel and toe or use the throttle and manipulate the car with your feet. And then you see someone like Robert who's lost the ability of that, but then has not lost any... And Zanardi was one. He went and won a touring car world championship after losing both his legs.
Yeah.
So it's something that's in people that have the ability. It's not just visual either, but through the seat of your pants, whatever it might be. These guys don't lose it, which is pretty cool to see. Very inspiring. And I think it might be Honda has developed cars around him as well. So I think just inspiring.
Obviously the ability to adapt.
Yeah.
You know, say he's gone from using his feet on the pedals to now he's using just all of his hands to drive the car. And he's still just as quick as he ever was. So
there's a few people that need to be tested, you know. There's just something not human about him. We've got, obviously we just mentioned Wickens there, but Alex Palou is one. Tyler Reddick right now. I nearly did a video yesterday with my tinfoil hat on because whatever the deal they've done with NASCAR in the off-season is, I mean, it is. He's gone from no wins last season to now 5 from the opening 9. So NASCAR, he's pumping them, and Michael Jordan is dominating them. I mean, that must be killing NASCAR at the moment. Just be like, fuck, these guys beat us in the off-season and now they're dominating. How can you not like Michael Jordan too? Oh, yeah.
Like, even just in the interviews they do with him after the race and stuff, he's just... I was a big Michael Jordan fan growing up for his basketball, but I just think, how can you not like the guy? He's just... Everything he touches turns to gold.
Yeah. We got to see him actually at where did we go? Darlington.
Darlington. We went to Daytona and Darlington, but yeah, he was at
Darlington.
Yeah.
So Supercars was unreal. But we'll start off with the F1. Actually, did you see Brock Feeney call me out again in the?
I did see that. Yeah, cheeky little boy.
Spicy. He started it too, by the way, by calling me out in the press conference.
I like it. Since he's grown a beard, he's also grown some balls, I reckon, and he's having a go. So
he's got some attitude, that young bloke.
A little bit of attitude, so good on you, bro.
I like it.
Keep it coming.
It called me out, which was definitely a shock. But I love it. I think good on him. He's definitely.
See, I thought I got away with it, but then in the comments on Sunday, he threw my name in it too. I thought, hang on,
true.
Just meant to be giving Scott a hard time here. I'm just flying under the radar.
Yeah, true. Actually, just before we go into Formula One, I want to give everyone an update on the broadcast stuff. Forgot to put this in the notes. We did talk about this at the pub and said we should really enlighten everyone, tell them what happened. So after we did the pod a couple of weeks ago in the lead up to, it was debrief in Christchurch.
Debrief Christchurch, yeah.
There was obviously an issue where our vision got used in broadcast. I had told everyone that we lost our Instagram because Supercars appealed some of our videos, which it turned out they were fine. We still can't get the page back. Anyway, they used our vision from the podcast with WinCup in broadcast. And I called out the hypocrisy. Like legally, I'm not fussed. We're not going to sue anyone, are we? We're not about that. We just wanted to shine a light on the fact that they did exactly what they said we shouldn't be doing. And they're much bigger than us. They're the man, you know. So since then, and we didn't really hold back, as we don't ever. But I had a really good chat with someone, the CMO, Supercars, and they were very good. They're actually like, yep, this is just after we posted the social clip too, which I thought was like, oh, fuck, when I saw them ringing, I thought, oh, my God.
They rang you, which is always nice.
Yeah.
Well, it's not always nice, but this one was nice.
It was, but I'm like, why can't they they need your number.
No.
Because mate,
I'm on D&D during the day, mate. Do not disturb.
Because I can't believe I don't have more grey hairs. Like my heart rate, even right now, talking about it starts to spike. The stress is just astronomical. But I had a really good chat. They actually called just to say they'd heard what we said and there were good points raised, and there's internal discussions that have been flagged and they're going to be had. And I think they want to touch base after Ruapuna with me to talk about a way in which we can find a way as creators, not just like apex hunters, this isn't isolated to us, but the points we've raised, the new heads within the company are saying we should be listening to this and actually trying to create change. So I think Supercars or Fox or whoever it might be is looking at finding a way that will be mutually beneficial for all of us, Lucky Dogs, other creators, to go out and create content around the sport we love. A little bit more freedom maybe. I don't know what it looks like yet, but that is the discussion that will be coming back our way. I'll be having that with Supercars maybe in Sydney. I'd love it if both of us can go up and sit in a room and just talk about content and what our strategy is. Because I sort of said to them, I think we can exist in the same ecosystem, but we have the same objective, different way of doing it, but our end goal is always the same. Try and bring eyeballs to the sport, but it sounds like something's going to change. And just quickly before we end on it though, like before I finish my blurb, I did get a phone call as well. So we're very, this is what gets me in trouble sometimes, very transparent with our audience. I read the messages out that I got from them, which I'm sure wouldn't have gone down very well because we were told not to. But then last week, so we were told in those messages that we don't need to ask your permission.
No rights.
We can do whatever. You have no rights. You don't own your content. And we talked about that. They called me last week to ask for permission.
Is this the same person?
Same person, to use it again, which I'm actually not throwing shade here. I actually really appreciated this. I thought this is great. They asked for permission to use our content in Ruapuna's preview. And they said that they would put credit on the bottom of the screen for ours and Lucky Dog. So this is why I say we're not just trying to do this for us. This is for everyone that loves the sport and wants to make content about it.
Yeah.
So that was awesome. But I did say, and so if you ever see our stuff used in the future, I've said to them, like, you don't need to ask us again. Like, we've had the chat, you've recognised maybe the hypocrisy, but it's awesome that they've flagged it, they've chatted to us about it now. And I said, if you see something on our pod, like, take whatever, use it. Just put the tag or credit where the source came from.
Yeah.
But we would love it if us or another creator does something that's worthy of the fans hearing about, and you talk about it. Like, they shouldn't have to just watch our pod to find it. But pretty cool. There's definitely change that's happened from it. I think we've changed a lot of different things in the sport. But you mentioned to me tonight about the challenges as someone that races in support categories, mate, like with the cost of trying to find sponsors and also then service them, but the ability isn't really there to be able to film your stuff on track. So I think shed a light for the fans too on what a competitor's perspective's like there.
Yeah, before I talk on that, obviously any creative landscape, you know, for them to be successful, generally is a fair bit of collaboration. So it's nice to see that they're starting to understand that.
Yeah.
And that, yes, collaborate with us and other pods and whatever. And yeah, just it leads us straight into the next section. There's so many amazing videographers and media people in motorsport that are running their own businesses and they're trying to create a business.
Yeah.
And they do that by shooting content for people like myself in support category land. So we'll pay, could be whatever, a certain amount every weekend, and then they'll produce us 2, 3, however many videos we want for the weekend that we can then obviously use for our social media, but then we can also give to our sponsors and sort of add value to the money that they're contributing for us to go racing.
Yeah.
And the hardest thing currently is, and fans may not understand this, but the reason why you'll just get a video of me sitting in pit lane or next to my car and just doing a wrap-up video, which I appreciate aren't that exciting, is because we're physically not allowed to shoot anything on track.
Yeah.
At a supercar event and things like that. Some other lower level events we can, but not at the supercars events. So it makes it really hard to be creative in that space. It makes it hard to give your sponsors engaging, exciting content that they can then go use in big trade stands or whatever they want to do or internally, or even just to get views online. So that needs to change. Like support category racing has some amazing in-car footage, some, you know, Trans Am especially, super exciting, the cars sliding around, but we can't use any of the footage. So that is something that I think needs to change, you know, because there is so many people that try and make a living in this sport that it's really hard to do.
Or not even just make a living, but participate.
Well, participate and you know, if we can't, and when I say we, I mean support category land can't get sponsors in the door because we can't offer them enough. There's no grids in support category land, and then there's no supercar race because then it gets too expensive for supercars. Because we cover most of the costs for the event to happen. Yeah. You know, the 200 extra entries that are in support category land will cover a fair chunk of it. So I think there needs to be a rethink and a reevaluation around that. And hopefully this collaboration that we talk of will allow for things like that to happen where it doesn't have to be a lot. I mean, geez, if we could get 30 seconds of on-track footage on a weekend, that would be enough for us to produce decent videos to give back. So I think they really need to have a look at it. And I know there's heaps of people like Dusty Media's brought it up. He does a great job. There's a lot of people out there do a great job with what they can, but, you know, it's time to change.
Definitely. And we've even ran into the issue now where we don't have many stars coming into the sport, into supercars. Yeah. But I think some of that as well is because through, like, you ask any kid now, you say like, oh, I race vet supercars. It's almost like, oh, do you have a big Instagram following? Like it's a currency. And I think if you don't have the ability to showcase what you do, like an opening lap for a support category onboard is often some of the coolest stuff you see, the biggest, you know, accidents of onboard or maybe cool passes. That's the type of stuff you follow people for. You'll tag, you'll follow their Instagram page. And if they have good content, like some supercross riders are able to have in junior categories, you know, like it's not just the 450 riders you follow, for instance. You follow them through the junior ranks because they have access to really cool onboard vision of them, you know, training or racing. And I think that when they get to supercars, your category is worth more because the drivers that arrive there don't have 2,000 followers. Yeah. You know, and that happened. Like it was only last year, I think Matty Payne was on like 6,000 or something, or 4,000. I'm like, fuck, he's one of the biggest stars. But through Super 2 and things, he's not able to even show any of the work he's doing to grow a following so that when he gets into supercars, the category can monetize him. Because he's not worth anything. His brand's worth nothing because they haven't allowed him any freedom. So I think it will change with every year because, you know, social media it's a currency. It's worth your following and your profile online. It's really important. So if we can, free up some content for drivers and creators around the sport to do stuff, it's only going to help.
And there's an easy fix for it too. I've had this conversation in the past when another broadcaster was running some of the support stuff for us, and they were happy for us to use on-track stuff, but they just want us to put a watermark in there. Yep. So if they provided all the media companies that work at the track with their watermarks that are required and allowed it, that would still be fine. You know,
we're not taken away. This is the big thing too. Like support categories posting their onboard, they're not posting the races. No. So you've still got, if you're interested in what they're showing, you've still got to go to KO or wherever to find the content to watch it all. So we're not. It's like the videos we post. No one's going to watch a 30-second video over the broadcast. No. They're going to watch a 30-second and maybe they'll realise, oh, fuck, I didn't realise Supercars was on. That's why you post content, because you go, oh, shit, Supercars on, I'll switch it on now.
We're giving them a little taste. They go, shit, that tastes good. I'll go have the whole thing. Yeah. And that's what it is. You're 100% right. So hopefully in this conversation, that comes up because that needs to change in Australian motorsport, and support category competitors need to be able to show on-track footage regardless of the event.
Yeah, but it sounds like it will. So just to recap on that, we've got someone's CMO is taking a look, and they're going to come back to us with something that should be mutually beneficial to work together, hopefully.
Chief Marketing Officer, for anyone wondering, what is a CMO?
Yeah, sorry. And then the person obviously who I read the messages gave me a call last week and asked for permission. So big shift in tone there.
It's great.
But also there's no need to. I actually just thank you for the call and stuff. That's all that needed to be done. And we are here for the sport and to all make it better. So hopefully if the next couple of weeks we can come up with some kind of agreement or arrangement for not just us but every creator that loves the sport to. Because I reckon if everyone gets on board, when they go to do their next broadcast deal, they might be surprised how much more money they can get for it because the profile of the sport is slightly bigger.
How much it's worth, yeah. It would be amazing.
Yeah.
It'd be an amazing case study just to see the difference. Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. Hunters, I just want to take a moment to thank one of our fantastic supporters, Shaw & Partners Financial Services. Shaw & Partners are a leading national investment advice and wealth management firm. They act for and on behalf of individuals, institutions, corporates, charities, and family offices. So, if you're looking for advice or assistance with investments or strategies, look no further than Shaw & Partners Financial Services. With a 35-year history and 8 offices strategically placed all over Australia, their financial advisors are within reach and ready to provide tailored solutions and advice. For more information, follow the link in the description of this podcast. Back to the show. Formula One, let's get into that. So you want to take it away with the first change? There's a few that they've made.
So super clipping limit has been increased. Harvesting and qualifying has been reduced. So first of all, the FIA announced that super clipping will be increased from 250 kilowatts to a maximum of 350 kilowatts from Miami onward. This means drivers can recover more energy while remaining at full throttle. A change McLaren team boss Andrea Stella had already advocated during winter testing in Bahrain. Increasing super clipping does not eliminate all concerns from fans. Cars will still lose top speeds before the end of the straights, but the speed profile is considered more natural and above all safer than with unexpected lift and coast manoeuvres.
I think the thing you're starting to see out of this, a lot of the teams, whether drivers or team principals like Andrea Stella, they raise these concerns really early. Like I think through the winter testing, they started to see the variance in speed or the amount of super clipping that they needed to do. And like the lift and coast was crazy. But
well, we had when Carl Reimler came to the pod and spoke to us after the testing, even then he was saying what concerns are out there pre the first Grand Prix.
And one of the changes they made for the wet, which we'll get into, but a quick explainer now, so that there's a lot of this, we'll credit to motorsport.com as well. That's where I've got a lot of the information from for tonight. And we've got a little recap at the end if it's too much stuff about the killer wasps. You don't have to try and stay tuned. But he was talking, so when Carl came on, he was talking about the energy recovery system being so strong. So when they lift off throttle, pretty much engine braking, but it recharges the batteries when they're off throttle. It was so strong they didn't need to run rear brakes. And some of the teams actually asked the FIA, could we remove the rear brakes just to save weight? Because they didn't need them. And that's why we've seen Max Verstappen in the wet, lift off throttle, lock the rears and spun and crashed at Melbourne Grand Prix. But that's one of the changes they've made for the wet. They've limited that. But the second one that I've got in here is the F1 has updated the start procedure. They're now calling it low power start detection. This is all the stuff I think.
Basically anti-stall.
They're trying to go away from the Mario Kart, but a lot of the stuff and the terms they're using, I feel like would be in video games. So in such cases, an automatic MG UK deployment will be triggered to ensure a minimum level of acceleration and mitigate start-related risks without introducing any sporting advantage. So they removed the ability of the MG UK to spool up the turbos faster in this new regulations. But obviously the issue is Ferrari made small turbos, so they spool up faster and they get off the line. But the issue is some of the bigger turbos, they've got no power. And because it's 50% of the overall power, if your turbo's not charged up, she's a bit of a slug off the line. But this means that the start will not be competitive in those cases, but that the driver in question can at least move away from their grid position to avoid a major crash. And an associated visual warning system is being introduced, activating flashing lights, rear and lateral, on affected cars to alert following drivers. So there's a few changes there. Less harvesting and qualifying. Quick explainer on that one, Barbs?
Yeah, so in addition, the FIA reduced the harvesting limit during qualifying from 8 megajoules to 7 megajoules, although it should be noted that these values can be lowered even further for a further 12 circuits on the calendar. Suzuka was lowered too, and that made bugger all difference, to be honest.
That was one of the ones we called a Band-Aid. So what they did there was, they reduced it hoping to get it from, so the amount of clipping around the lap or having to recover the energy recovery was 10 seconds. They reduced it to 6. They reckon this one's going to reduce it down to 2 to 4 seconds, which would be, good, but it makes them slower.
Yeah, it will make the 2026 cars slower, but reduces the need for both lift and coast and super clipping. It should help to make qualifying more on the limit again, despite slightly slower lap times. This change targets a maximum super clipping duration reduced, as you just said, mate, between 2 to 4 seconds from 6. So it's obviously less time they've got to do it, but we will see. Because, Suzuka, we didn't really notice a massive change. It's going to be very circuit dependent too, mate.
Yeah, well, Suzuka was probably one of the worst, wasn't it? Because the braking zone at the last chicane was so short. They had no time to recharge.
Yeah.
And it was a long straight in the lead up, like 130 Rs flat. So on the front straight, they were just driving. One of the sim drivers told us it was like driving a Formula V. When the thing's out of battery and you've only got 50, you got like 500 horsepower or less. So it's
Formula V would be pretty spicy with 500 horsepower.
True. Yeah, okay. It's a pretty fast Formula V. But yeah, I think, and for qualifying, that'll make a big difference because he won't have as much lift and coast and stuff then. But deployment changes as well. The FIA will also make adjustments on the deployment side. A lot of this is going to sound like a foreign language to most people.
Yeah.
But the MG...
sounds foreign to me, mate.
That's what I mean. I say most people. I'm one of those people. But the MG UK deployment remains at 350 kilowatts for what the FIA calls acceleration zones, but will be, key acceleration zones, but will be limited to 250 kilowatts for the other parts of the lap. Additionally, the maximum power available through boost mode in race conditions is now capped at 150 kilowatts. These measures are designed to reduce excessive closing speeds while maintaining overtaking opportunities and overall performance characteristics.
Yes.
So it's trying to limit, I guess, the amount of speed difference, between the cars and make it a little bit safer.
Yeah. Safety changes for the wet. The temperature of the tyre blankets for the intermediates will be increased, while the ERS deployment will be reduced and the rear light systems will be simplified. Basically, less rear locking under brakes in the wet is what they're hopefully trying to achieve.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that it is actually, it blew us away, didn't it, when Carl said on the pod that some of the teams were saying, can we just fuck off the rear brakes?
No rear brakes. Formula 1 car with no rear brakes, don't need them.
Like, that is insane. And so I think even the drivers, you want them to be able to drive the race car properly, and that is get off throttle, jam the brakes on, or whatever it might be. I mean, even if you're getting off throttle and it has that much rear brake, you're changing brake balance and the way you drive the car too much. We just want to be race car drivers and wheel the thing. So some of the changes I think are good. When they talk about the megajoules and stuff reducing, I think it was like 10 down to 9. Now they're going 8 down to 7.
It could be anything. It means nothing to me.
And I don't know that it's making that much of a difference, but we've speculated enough times in this podcast. Is Max Verstappen departing Formula 1 at the end of the season? An interesting quote has come out after the FIA announced these changes, and Max Verstappen, who has been outspoken about the regulations so far, indicated last week that he expected few major changes for 2026, but is mainly hoping for bigger changes in 2027. Makes me think maybe he'll be here in 27, but he wasn't expecting much out of these. I feel like they are Band-Aids, but let's hope the leg's not broken and a Band-Aid's sufficient, and we get to Miami and we're all wrong.
So to simplify it, if that's all just gone over your head like it has mine.
Yep, so go for it, Buzz.
Essentially, it means less energy saving, more pushing.
Yep.
Power delivery has been smoothed out. Safety fix after the Suzuka scare.
Yeah, so cars were arriving at corners at very different speeds. They've mitigated some of that risk.
Yeah, and we saw the crash with Ollie Behrman and Colapinto. Yep. New race start safety system, so they will, it's a bit like anti-stall if you want to think of it that way. They're going to sort of be able to chug away from the line and hopefully not get rear-ended. Wet weather improvements. Tyres are going to be up hotter. The rear braking, if you like, is going to be reduced, so hopefully they don't lock the rears. So, yeah, we will see if it makes a difference come Miami.
They're saying less managing, more pushing, safer closing speeds and better qualifying laps. Cars will be about 2 seconds slower, they're saying, which I think we've said a few times. Totally irrelevant. Yeah, it is. Honestly.
Never sat at a racetrack and fucking have the stopwatch out. Don't care. If it looks cool, shoots flame, slides, sounds good,
100%.
Good vibe, I'm in.
Yeah, exactly. I'm with you. The overall lap time does not matter. Use Bathurst as an example. I love watching an old highlight race when even the first 206 that Murph did, I think was as fast as we ever needed to go. Some of the 208s we saw were mega. So, yeah, I think if you got the guys hustling these things and in qualifying, especially for one lap, let's push from the start-finish line to the finish line, I think. But, yeah, all good. Hopefully they're
hopefully positive changes, yeah.
And a good thing is they've made some.
Got to do
so.
something.
Even though Stefano Domenicali did an interview and I really didn't like it, but he is the president. Oh, what's his role? FIA? Not the head of the FIA. head of Formula One pretty much, but
Works for
he's the head of Formula One. But he did the interviews pretty much being he was extremely tone deaf, and it was almost like he hasn't seen or heard any of the negativity from the drivers. He acknowledged that some of the fans, he says, pretty much are ignorant and they don't know what they're talking about.
Wow.
But I commented on the post actually on Autosport and said, like, hang on, I don't think the people driving the cars are complete idiots. Like, they seem to be fairly outspoken about what they like, and they've called them yo-yo racing. It's not real. Passing cars by accident.
Well, when Alonso comes out on the test day and says the chef could jump in and do as good a job as me, you probably know.
Yep.
No disrespect to the chef, but you probably know.
Maybe the chef's a mint driver, but
You probably know there's maybe a problem there.
yeah, and physically, racing cars should be hard. And they're saying that there's no more high-speed corners anymore because they're called, what did he call them?
They're all mid-speed
energy
now.
recovery stations or something.
They're on medium speed now.
Yeah. So, So anyway, hopefully that gives everyone a bit of insight into F1. Supercars now, we'll get into that. Ruapuna, I think it was a banger.
Christchurch.
I think it was great. What do you think of it?
Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was, good. I thought it was entertaining. I could see from a driver's point of view, maybe in racing where it might have been a little bit frustrating because it's very easy to get bumped off the road and things like that. But I think from a fancy on the couch with the tin, I thought it did everything it needed to do.
I think the dust made it, actually.
Yeah.
Like, I think that early in the weekend, I live streamed the first two races, or the first race here, and I thought the dust looked it looked bad. Like on TV, I was just like, what is this shit show? Like, and as well, because of the way the track runs, for half the lap, the cars are almost a silhouette because of the sun setting behind them.
Yeah.
The cars look cool at that time of day, but I think the dust at that point being the first impression of the racetrack in a race, it was like you couldn't even see the cars. They're coming up to turn 4 and there's like a car popping out every, half second, a second, a car would appear. So I thought it looked a bit silly, it looked a bit bad, like a bit of a shithole. And then as the weekend went on, like especially the 200K race at the end, I think it created a lot of jeopardy. Like if a driver made a mistake at 4, it's very easy. If you just outbrake yourself by a couple meters, it's easy to go wide and it might open the door for someone to pass you. And on a track that is narrow, it's for the minute 20, you're turning most of the time. Overtaking's not easy, so defending's really easy. And I thought it probably just created a few errors from drivers that were under pressure, that if not for the dust and the difficulties there, they could probably just not even check the mirror and know no one's coming by. So I think the dust, I've got to say, it's funny, it surprised me. I think it was actually a good thing. Maybe the only change to the circuit, because I liked that it was punishing. It's an old school track. If you ran off, no one did luckily, but it would be a monumental. Yeah. But I think maybe the apex at 3, they could just tarmac behind the curb. Because I think it was when you get the double bounce and drop behind the curb, it was dragging it over the track.
Yeah.
That's the only one. I mean, when you run off on the exit, easy fix is put a concrete wall there and everyone will keep their 4 wheels on the track. So it's still up to the drivers to not exceed the
Always
track
going to take the piss.
Yeah, exactly. So, but overall, I thought good. The digital boards, actually, I think those sometimes you couldn't see the crowd. They're talking about the record numbers. Feedback for the TV people, I think the digital boards kill it for TV here because they covered the grandstands. Like there was some shots where there was the fake board completely over a grandstand. So in corners where when you see the crowd packed, makes you think, fuck, that's cool.
I want to be there.
So when you're covering it, it actually made it a bit like, are there people there? Like it looks busy in some spots, but then on some corners when you can't even see the grandstand, you just don't know. So that's all I'd say, but I think it looked pretty fucking awesome. It looked like Pukekohe, to be honest, when I saw the back of the pits and that. I had FOMO because Pookie was always special. Kiwis are bloody racing mad. So
it did, cool. Yeah, it looked like a track. It would have been a really fun track, and all the drivers got out after practice 1 and was like, man, this joint's so busy. And I think there was a real sort of, I guess, excitement from the drivers too, because they were learning something new. And some of the guys would have been there, sure, but years ago in support categories. And I think, supercar drivers, they're the elite in Australia, and it would have been probably a long time since they've had to relearn a new track.
Yep.
And so that is fun in itself. So I think that also lent itself to mistakes, because even by the end of the weekend, people were still going, well, can I pass into this corner, or can I do this? So that was... I think, it looked exciting. And
it was funny in the first couple of races. There was 4 races across the weekend, which was cool. But across the first few, there was you could see people hadn't quite sussed out the approach to turn 1 into 2. And by Sunday, there was, I guess, there's a bit more tyre offset and things, but there was a lot more passes on Sunday in that 200K race into turn 2 than I think we saw in the other 3 races. So you're right, people got it worked out by the end. Did it surprise you, the field spread? And I think I probably took away from it thinking... It surprised me that the car, I never thought about it really, but the car seemed to make a massive difference at this circuit. Not that it doesn't usually, but you spend so much time in the corners there. A driver, it didn't seem like even a good driver was able to make a difference. It was like if your car was slow, you were kind of mid-pack. Like Cam Waters, great qualifier. I know they're not having the best run at the moment, but couldn't make it work. But in the race, he could drag something out of it. But it was like the field spread was massive. I think it was like 8/10 across the top 10 in some sessions.
Yeah.
So the car, did it surprise you that there was as big a field spread there and some cars weren't able to get on top of it?
Probably not because, and I only say that because you just touched on, mate, they spend a lot of the lap turning. And as you know, when you're looking for something in a race car, normally it's not enough turn.
Yeah.
You can't rotate the thing quick enough, get on the gas, get off the corner. So I think it would have been exaggerated. If your car was lacking a little bit, I think it probably got exaggerated there. And I reckon that's probably why we saw Groves look just so good.
Yeah.
You know, they might have, a normal track, they might have been half a tenth up the road, but here it blows out at 2-3 tenths maybe.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it gets heightened. So, yeah.
I was surprised we didn't hear about drip restriction because on a track like that, you could see the rear wheel. They were driving go-karts around. There was that much in it. To make the car turn, they just restrict the droop, how much the rear wheel can lower.
Drop down.
Yep. And that makes it turn, so it jacks the inside wheel. But it was so funny watching the Penrite cars go around, and they had it nailed. Like the thing would just come up and stay. Often you get them to bounce and you can't quite get it to stay up, but their thing was on a dime. I was actually thinking it would be funny to see a car there with the open diff. Now that I've driven one, I can't stop. Like I was anti it for so long. And then that track, it's narrow, it's tight, so it's hard to pass. But I was thinking, fuck, if they could get the thing to rotate and actually complete switchbacks on people, it would be interesting, like that change of direction up to the last corner. It was very difficult for anyone to come out of the left before the last corner and finish tight enough to get a run into the last corner. And that's just because when you clear the brake, these cars, the rear drops and it forces understeer into the car. Mr. Plough. So I was thinking all weekend, I wonder if on this track, the open diff would open up different racing lines and you'd be able to switch back, because we didn't really see someone complete a pass into the last corner because you just couldn't get the change of direction, I think.
Yeah, no, the only time we really saw it was, as you said, when someone dropped, you know, a meter's worth of dirt into the hairpin and someone would lock up on it, run a bit wide, and then all of a sudden that was really the only, other than getting the elbows out, which we'll discuss later. But
and also droop restriction probably wasn't mentioned. That's what I was getting at actually before I lost my train of thought.
So did you want to mention it?
No, it was that Scaife and Crompton weren't there.
Right.
So usually that's what's in commentary, but there's with the new guys, they didn't talk about it. So
what do you think of commentary? Kralsey backed it up for a second weekend. Tander was there with him. I thought they were great again. What was your thoughts, mate?
Yeah, I think they did a great job. I don't think JC is like he's okay in the lane, I think, but like just my feedback in the race, you can tell people that are able to like think further ahead than the words that are coming out their mouth, because they're just having to talk so fast. The action's happening quick, so you can be through 4 or 5 corners before you finish your train of thought. And I think with JC, the passion's not there, just the genuine passion. Whereas GT, he's calling what's in front of him. I think he's genuinely loving it. Like he's just watching the car race.
GT's a racer.
And with JC, it does bring back his interview when he talked about getting the gig. He said, it's going to be great for my profile to keep selling houses. And I was like, fuck, like,
probably not the right reason.
Come on, dude. We kind of want someone who just loves the sport and wants to talk about it. I remember he did tell me once he wanted to just check out when he retired, but things change. But I can feel that in the thing. I think that's why he can't. He's not actually excited by what he's watching. So he's not just, spitting off the top of his mind.
Kind of not genuine excitement.
But then when you are trying to deliver something, Krause and GT are so good at like knowing where they're getting and just landing at the right time and finishing at the right time. So I think in the lane though, he did a good job with Jess. I think hosting was fine and stuff, but yeah, calling the race is just, I imagine it's bloody hard. And
I would hate to do it. It's definitely probably a skill set I would not have.
And everyone has their skills. Like, I think Krause is a great broadcaster. I actually think Chad, I reckon the lane, he's the best almost in the world at like finding stories in the lane and being able to do that.
Very good at, I thought Chad was really good on the weekend on calling the pit stops as they were happening on his toes. Like I thought, in a 5-6 second pit stop, he was delivering a lot of information, everything we all know. Did they go on right? Did the wheels go on right? What's happening with fuel? And he absolutely nailed that. So you're right, in the lane, Chad was brilliant. Yeah.
The only thing I noticed that they missed, which would be so hard because you're watching so many different things, but Never really got picked up at all in broadcast, I don't think, but Job Stewart picked up damage in one of the races and was coming down the lane sideways, but they were just following, I think it was Cam Waters or someone like going well.
Crabbing was he?
And he was crabbing down the lane and then he ended up actually just going out and straight back in and then had to fix the rear right. But stories like that, you got to just sometimes be looking for the guys that aren't at the front of the field because there are stories always happening up and down the lane.
Just while we're talking on the crew too, from that point of view, I thought Molly did a great job and her technical, I guess, knowledge and skill came through as well because she called a few things on damage early on the weekend. Yep. And straight away she can look at it and, like, she was all over it.
She's a bush mechanic. She came on our pod and said, like, you know, she's fixed race cars and works on them, and I think she knows enough that when something breaks and if an engineer or a mechanic tells her what's broken, she actually understands what the part is and knows. And so you can retain the info and then relay it to us viewers. Yeah. Nails it. She did it somewhere. I think it was like Townsville, and I messaged her. And no, it was Queensland Raceway last year. Brad Jones told her some of the parts that were damaged. Yeah. She just rolled the parts off, like she knew what it was, and that comes through in the TV. Yeah,
so I think they all did a great job, but they're sort of highlighting that. Molly again showed how valuable she is in that position.
Yeah,
because of the experience she's got. So that was good.
Definitely. I hope you're enjoying this episode, but I do have to interrupt just quickly to thank our fantastic supporters that allow us to create the content for you. East Coast Car Rentals. If you're in the market for a rental car, think of those guys. And if you'd like a cheeky 15% discount, AHU15 is the discount code there for 15% off. If you're in the market to buy a car, not rent one, Lancaster Motor Group, we've got you covered for new or used cars. So think Lancaster Motor Group. Back to the show. All right, so there's 4 races on the weekend. We'll get into some of the team stuff, but Kai Allen got his first dub, which is amazing.
I called it.
You actually did. You texted me straight away too. I was so annoyed by that.
You know what? I had actually half forgotten, but a Hunter messaged me going, Barbs, you called it on socials. I was like, shit, I did too. So that's when I got back straight to you.
So we won't go through everything, but the podium for the first race, Brody come home second, Ryan Wood third, Matty Payne 4, Anton 5. Just Anton all weekend again held the fort for the Chevys. And then BRT actually in the first and third race, Jimmy Golding finished up 6th there in the first one, but actually snagged a podium in race 3 as well. So but that's really it. I mean, Zach Bates, honourable mention in that first race as well, P9.
Yep. So Bates did a great job. Race 2, Brody won that. That was a solid job. Kai Allen, second. He just had, this was his weekend, I reckon, where he's really stood up and gone, hey, I'm here to mean business. And obviously their cars were fast.
Yep.
Ryan Wood third. Amazing job. Will Brown 4th. Brock Feeney 5th. Again, Anton was the top bow tie, the top Chevy. Honourable mention, Jaden Ojeda was P8.
Yeah.
Rookie, that's a great job. And Zach Bates again, P10. So he backed it up with 2 top 10s in races 1 and 2. So
I think for Zach, that's awesome because he'd been qualifying pretty well and then getting shuffled in the races. I think it's good to, maybe it shows the nature of the track too because he qualified well and it was a difficult place to pass, but that's good for his confidence. Two top 10s back to back is good.
I think it's still where you land in the races and who's around you because I know in some of the later races you got tangled up in some stuff and it was much harder. And we saw in one of the races, I think it might have been race 1 with Brock. Yeah, because Brock...
The safety car issue. Actually, we should touch on that. Did you see the safety car issue where there was...
At the start, that was a bit of the flags. Obviously, there was a crash off the start line, so I think it was David Reynolds got caught up with Macaulay Jones and Cameron Hill. So 2 Toyotas and Dave off the start line. And then so I think there was a bit of a oh, shit, we're going to do safety car, but the cars were still mobile. They got back around. So, but there was still some flags around at turn, 4 or 5?
Yeah, there was 2 safety car boards out.
Yeah, so
there's 4 and 5.
Flags and boards around there. So the guys didn't know what was going on, and some people ended up getting shuffled back, and some people ended up getting some wins out of it. But essentially, the race hadn't gone yellow. On the monitors, it was still green. So
we did get a message as well through our socials that it was just a question saying if your screen on your dash says safety car, but there's nothing on track. Or they contradict each other, whichever way it might be. Say you see a safety car, but it still says green on your dash. Which one do you honour? It's always got to be the flag marshal.
Yeah, so
technology can just fail, but your flag is.
So flags are always regulatory.
Yeah.
Or if they're using light panels, they'll be regulatory over something like that where you've got an in-car system.
You mean mandatory?
Regulatory means you have to abide them.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So
I've already failed my flags. But, okay. But so that's just letting you guys know that is the answer to that one.
But just on the Batesy thing, some of the later races on the weekend, he struggled a little bit, got caught up racing hard with people. But I think it was the nature of the circuit too. If he didn't qualify well, we saw it with Brock in the first race. He didn't qualify that well and he got a bit dicked on the safety car and he couldn't really move forward. And that's Brock, who absolutely dominated last year.
Let's not pump his tyres up, though, okay? We've got a real
Actually,
problem
yeah,
with
stuff him. But it did show that.
But yes, he's one of the best, and he can't move forward in that rate.
And that just shows you how competitive the field is. They all race really, really hard.
Yep.
And track position is king. I know that sounds simple, but especially there, it looked it.
Yep. Didn't mention at the start either. We're live streaming on Patreon. If you'd like to be a part of the show as well and contribute via comments, just letting us know how we're going, or if you've got information, then jump on our Patreon. But we actually just got a comment come through from Johnny Ridgway, and he did say one thing he noticed during qualifying top 10 was the errors still in broadcast. They are at round 4. And
what did he notice, Johnny?
Well, I know exactly what he would have noticed because I kept getting messages through our socials as well. I wanted to cut him some slack because I didn't enough. I ripped him on their graphics.
One nice phone call and now you cut them slack. What's going on?
I'm like, fuck. All I get, though, is like comment. If I do another one, I get hate in the comments going, this guy fucking hates him. But I'm like, it's a fuck up. Like, this would be good content. It's their fault. It's not my fault.
I did
but I didn't want to get ripped in the comments for just being a hater. But I'm like, the fact is, and there you go, like Johnny Ridgway, he's watching it, and it kept coming up. So in the top 10 shootout, it would come up with, I felt bad too, because poor Tommy Randall didn't have a good quality. He qualified 16th. The only reason I know that is because in the top 10 shootout on everyone's lap, it would just pop up the graphic, Thomas Randall, P16, in the middle of someone's shootout lap. Poor guys.
They were rubbing it in.
Everyone knows that, he didn't have a good quality. So there's another one. Adam Burhop said that LeBrock was also driving a Ford, which is disappointing because he was actually the highest achiever for Chev in race 4.
I did see some of the manufacturer logos were asked about. I did see that.
So come on, guys. I think there's every chance in the world we might actually have parity before they fix the graphics pack. Race 3. Matty Payne got the dub. Brock Feeney P2 and Jimmy Golding. There's his podium. First one since Sydney Motorsport Park. Woody again leading the way for Toyota. P4. Brody Kostecki P5. Anton Top Chev. Jack LeBrock P9. Jack's been solid all year. Goes under the radar and barely gets mentioned.
Yeah, it's actually it's almost, I'm not going to say criminal, but it is a shame because he has had some really good results this year.
Yep.
And he's been getting not a lot of love.
Yeah.
So there you go, Jack. We'll give you some love, mate. Well done.
Exactly. Race 4.
Race 4.
First Penrite 1-2.
Yeah, Matty Payne, Kai Allen, Grove cars just kind of look like they're in a little bit of a league of their own, to be honest.
Yeah.
Brock Feeney 3rd, James Golding 4th. Again, he's backed that up with another great result for BRT. Cam Waters 5th. Cam had a starter motor issue off the start, had to go back to the lane, came from pit lane start, which is essentially stone motherless bloody nowhere.
Yeah.
And he's run a top 5. So, Cam, you drove the wheels off that thing. Well done.
That was unbelievable.
Will Brown in P6. Jack LeBrock flew the Chevy flag, top Chev there in 7th. Andre Heimgartner was the top Toyota actually in that race due to, which we'll cover on later, Woody's heartbreak in P8. Cooper Murray P9. Finally, he's had a decent race because he's had no luck and had no speed all year. They look like they turned that around a little bit. And Declan Fraser, shout out, top 10 for Declan, and he'd been struggling this year as well. So I just wonder with that, do you reckon, I know the drivers thought that the slight parity tweak for the Chev and the aero tweak towards the rear of the car didn't do a lot, but it did seem like this weekend Chevys were slightly more competitive than what they have been. So I do wonder, from sitting on the couch and not driving the thing, to me it looked like maybe it was in the right direction.
Yeah.
And they got a little bit more speed, but they're still obviously a little bit way off the Fords and Woody. But it did look to me like it maybe made a little bit of a positive gain.
I think so. We might as well touch on as well, like, I mean, at the moment, the Chevs, the problem, I mean, Barry Ryan said that there's no A-grade drivers in the field for the Chevs. And I know that, like, he's definitely having a little bit of a dig there at Anton and Reynolds because they used to be his drivers. And it's definitely disrespectful to say, like, especially those two because they're seasoned. And especially the way Anton's performing, he's driving like an A-grader.
Yeah, Anton's doing a great job.
But the others are obviously rookies, so I don't think anyone should take offence to what he said. I think he just meant, like, we've got a very young demographic as a Chev group, which is fine. I think that's all he was trying to say.
Yeah.
But the one thing, like, it made me think, though, where Chev does have a deficit is they don't really have an A-grade team to attract an A-grade driver. No. So, like, Team 18 is at the moment the best Chev team. And it's still a relatively small team in scale of, like, compared to others, not in terms of, like Adrian's obviously done a lot and Charlie's been around a long time. He's won a championship with DJR and stuff. But it's a small team battling against, like, Tickford, DJR, Walkinshaw. So there's not a powerhouse behind it, which is why they kind of gathered the merry men and thought we'll band together and do it to support each other, all the Chev teams, because there wasn't a big dog. But I think that the call was where he says there's no A-grade drivers. I think the struggle they've got is they don't have any A-grade teams at the moment, like top teams, and even Barry, like you got to be careful because if you're an A-grade team principal and you're going to make that, if you're an A-grader, you keep your team together. Yeah, they won a championship. It doesn't stand up anymore. An A-grade team principal keeps the team together. So there's not even an A-grade team principal. Like you have to take some responsibility and go, you won a championship. It fell apart. You cop that on the chin. You're no longer an A-grade team. And you're definitely not, like an A-grade team principal keeps it together for longer than that. So
I would say, I know you say, and currently on stats, yes, Team 18 are the top Chev team. But I think on the weekend I saw glimpses of Premier about to come good. Like
they'll take the reins, I think.
With Jaden was kind of regularly, I know the races, not all the races panned out the way, but for speed, he was top 10 every race and most sessions.
Well, as well, like Premier has Roland Dane.
Correct. No, and that's
like this is where I'm saying like
that's the point I'm getting to.
There's
like, I think we're starting to see the influence that Roland's maybe having on Premier. And they've essentially got two rookies. Yes, Declan's done a year, but he had a couple of years off or a year off. He's essentially a rookie too. Jaden's a rookie, and they're kind of nipping at the heels now at Team 18. It felt like that way on the weekend now. I know it's only one round, and it might change when we go to the next track, but to me it feels like they're probably only going to get stronger.
Well, I think they will because like this is where I've had a lot of respect for someone like RD. He'll build relationships with the crew members that like they won't want to leave. Yeah. And that's what I mean by like A, you know, I'm saying the A because he said no A-grade drivers, but RD will build a powerhouse over time. And I think it's because he'll start stacking his blocks rather than being like, oh shit, we've got all of them, and then not making sure that each one's serviced along the way. He'll, in the next 2, 3, 4 years, have a team that's been a slow progression of like building blocks and good relationships, and then you garner, you know, passion out of your crew and they all work together. And then when you're winning, no one wants to leave because if you're winning, like you are the big dogs.
To me, they're the next Groves. And if you think about the evolution of Groves, they bought Kelly's, bit of a slow burn to get to where they are.
Yep.
But they had, obviously, Stephen Grove had a lot of resources behind him and the passion to want to do it. Pete Zibris is the same. He's got the resources behind him and the ability to give Roland the tools he needs to make it powerful. So and successful. So, yeah, I kind of feel like they're where Groves were 3 years ago. And you look at Groves this weekend.
Yeah, yep. And credit to Groves too because Grant McPherson just got poached from GM. And I think it was great to see because I think I actually gave a lot of the credit to Grant McPherson for their strategy. And I think they nailed their strategy again on the weekend. So I think it was really good for everyone internally at Groves to take away some confidence from the weekend to go.
They got a lot of engineering power there, a lot of smart minds there.
But you know how sometimes like you might be hidden underneath like the star and I think it was good to see them all lift and actually show that like, yeah, like a new engineer on Kai's car. And
I actually think he's doing... because he's from another world. Like open wheelers, high downforce, it's completely different. It's not tin top racing. I think he's doing an amazing job.
Yep.
So that's another, I guess, shout out, I guess.
Yeah. But in terms of parity, like I guess this is where this started. I don't really know. Like I thought 3 rounds was a pretty small sample size, especially because Anton had success and he was fast. And it did bring me to the Toyota parity. Because I thought, like, Anton's been the standout, but I guess they're looking at, like, the depth of that. Like, Anton still won a race as well. Like, this is the thing too. He won a race and then 2 rounds after that, they're doing parity adjustments for the Chevs. I think it's still that they're doing parity adjustments for the teams, not the performance of the Chev brand. I feel like they're trying to bring up smaller teams to the front, which I think even Baz, I don't think he wants that. I think he's a competitor, and that's what he's trying to say too. He's like, I think he might have been surprised maybe they got it across the line. He did definitely think that they needed a shift, but also seemed to recognise that like, hey, we've probably got some issues in our backyard we're going to work on.
Yeah, he's very... If
we get it, good bonus.
Yeah, very much looking inward at his team saying, well, when we're the first Chev team, if we're still coming 20th and there's dramas, or 15th.
So it surprised me it came as early as it did. I think it was a mistake in the wind tunnel testing. I think they took the wrong front bar or the wrong aero package or something, and that's why they actually got the shift. So I think the shift was actually a mistake. I think the HT team for Chev, from what I heard...
Surely Triple Eight would have known that.
They did, yeah.
Like when they were there...
I don't know then. No, I think it's like this is all...
But they would have
later.
They would have known what they had. Yeah.
They might not have, though, because I guess they just put it on the wind tunnel and go...
But even if they did, they're not going to mention if they think that they've made a mistake, and because they're no longer GM, right? They're forward when they're there.
Yeah. But
I wouldn't be saying... I would have gone, fuck, they've cocked this up.
Oh,
This would
100%.
be good for
yeah.
us.
But I don't know if it's a bare bar. I don't know that.
You can tell maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. And it could be wrong as well. It could be bullshit. It could just be that it had a deficit because that was meant to be as well the car that never got changed, which was weird. Like they had to change it, remember? When like even Adrian was saying they just made some changes
Yeah,
to increase
it was
front
meant to be the
downforce.
known quality.
Yeah. So that was odd, but it brought me to Toyota. So I actually took out Woody. And the best results from Ruapuna for a Toyota was 8th, 13th, 12th and 8th. And Woody had 3rd, 4th DNF. So if you actually remove Woody from the whole thing, and even at Topol really, and Melbourne Grand Prix, like everywhere, he's kind of been the Anton for the Toyota camp. And I do wonder if you remove Woody, do you end up getting, it's scary because if you give more parity to the Toyota, like Woody could be off and running.
Gone.
So that's probably a fear of theirs. But BJR had a really tough weekend for performance. And Chaz finished 8th, 13th and 12th, and he was the highest Toyota other than Woody in the first 3 races. So it does make me wonder why they made such a quick adjustment on the Chev when really, if you take Woody out of the picture, the Toyota doesn't seem that amazing either.
Yeah, well, we've seen it before with manufacturers. The squeaky wheel normally gets an oil. So whether there's background noise happening from manufacturers internally to supercars, which I'm sure is always happening because that's their business, right? They need their badges across the line first every race. That's the idea of why they're putting such money into the sport. So, but yeah, it is. Initially, it felt like a bit of a knee-jerk reaction. I actually think it was probably a positive. I think anything the sport can do to try and make it not a one-car show. Like no one wants a Mustang Cup, no one wants a Super Cup, no one wants a Camaro Cup. So I think anything they can do, and even if that does mean that, yeah, okay, maybe there's better drivers and they need to artificially change it a bit.
I definitely disagree on that. 100%.
I don't mean
I could not disagree more.
I don't mean artificially changing the winners, but as an example, if a Ford's got the top 6 positions,
Yeah, then
every
Chev
race,
need to do better. Or
but how do you
Toyota need to do better.
But if you've got someone like Anton's won races in a Ford,
Yeah.
he's a known quality.
Yeah, then Team 18 need to do better.
He can win races. Yeah.
Like this isn't, like I've said it a few times as a joke.
But how do you know though that they're not doing a good job? I'm saying when all the other Chevs.
Because historically, like I'm using Team 18 as an example because Anton drives there, but they don't beat Triple Eight.
No, but they won at Sydney.
Yeah, a race. Anyone can win a race. Like it feels like every now and then, if you get in the window, you can do it. But trying to do it week in and week out is what makes it
Consistency
great.
is a
That's what makes-
championship team, correct.
That's what makes the greats. But it also shows the potential is there if you get it right. So if you win a race and then you come 10th at the next one, that's on you and your performance. Even their pit stops, they're still slow in the lane. They're still, you know what I mean? Like they had a rear left armour again.
Not a great example.
Yeah, but they got a change. They're a HT team. All I'm saying is this is sport. You don't get prizes if you come 4th. Like there's podium, and I feel like it's maybe a bit of a dick thing, but like it's harsh. But I am all for, like, if someone dominates, I'm like, fuck, good. I can't, it's so hard to do that or be even able to. I just admire it. I'm like,
that's as a competitor. I agree as a competitor. I'm saying as a sport, from a sport point of view, if there's top 10 are always Fords, people are going to lose interest.
That's exactly why they've done the finals thing, which I think's fucked. I think it's terrible.
But that's what I'm saying.
That's
why it's happening though, isn't it?
Well, go watch Little Leagues then, where everyone gets a trophy at the end of the day. Like, don't support top tier motorsport. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, you either want to see, and the thing is, or just pick a different team. Like, if you follow Carlton, you're in for
just bandwagon.
if you follow Carlton, it's tough. I get it. That's hard. But, you know, like, it's a harsh take, and that's why, you know, everyone will have a different take. That's just my.
Oh, no. And I said, as a competitor, fast team should win. I agree. But I can also see from a business point of view why some fans would potentially, if you're not a Ford fan and Ford are dominant, you go, well, this is, I'm going to go watch footy.
Yeah. Well, then the sporting body, they need to put more pressure on teams to, like, lift their game, I think.
Yeah. So if
it's damaging the sport.
So if they think they've got parity, then that needs to be the conversations they're having.
Yeah.
You either need to, if you think your driver's no good, you either need to change your drivers, or if you think you guys are no good.
But like, if you look at Chev right now, if MSR start rolling around and they're like, say, Team 18 and MSR are taking up 4 of the top 6 spots, but they're not winning every day, that's not parity.
No, I totally agree.
That's
with
definitely, that's not parity.
Yeah,
like,
no.
that's unfair. I think that's actually an unfair, because you've got people that, and it's not just like, you can't just say people have more money, because like RD when he started Triple Eight, they didn't start just with more money. They had better philosophies and better engineering, and they just made better race cars, started winning, and then with that success, they got better sponsorship deals.
Yeah, and Premier's that now, right? It's not like they're probably lacking money.
Yeah.
They're probably lacking experience.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's like Premier. There's actually, like you talk about them possibly taking the mantle as top team. In 2-3 years, they could, and especially with this generation of car, like we've already increased the level of parity by giving everyone the same equipment.
No one's making shit.
So providing you can afford to keep the running gear up to maintenance and stuff, you've got every opportunity in the world to do well. That's the benefit of the Gen 3 car.
Yeah.
And I think Penrite, they could go, like Erebus won the championship. And so like Erebus can rebuild and win the championship again. That's like, you can't forget that. And Premier could be the next one to do that. I agree, like if there's actually like deficits and there's, Ford, Toyota or Chev need help but it's difficult when your case study doesn't have the same apples. Like,
well, and that's the thing, right?
Even drivers, they mentioned not having the best driver. Like, how do you increase parity so that a rookie can win off podium every week?
Well, and you see that with the Ford, right? Like Ryland had a really good weekend. He had a top 10 finish. But there were still races where he was still a second off Brody for pace and quality sessions where he was 8, 9 tenths off. Yeah. So, I guess to your point, how do you know that the driver is always on their day as well? Because you can have half a shit day, you're 2 tenths off, nowhere in supercars.
Yeah. And that's the good thing. Like someone commented today on one of our posts saying like, supercars are dying and why can't we go back to the good old days? And like, the good old days was fucked. They had like 10 seconds covering the top 10.
The good old days it's like the good old days in NASCAR. Richard Petty won everything because his cars were so much faster.
Yeah, exactly. Like Marcus said, he got to drive Jeff Gordon's car and he was like, oh my God, like you drive that thing on a road course, you would have won everything by a mile, like way more than the Richard Petty Motorsport or whoever he drove for. So we've got cars that are very equal, but then sometimes like you could be 15th, but you're only like 4 tenths off the pace. It's like, but that's what's good about it as well. Like the competition's better than it's ever been. I think the quality of the drivers as well is better than it's ever been. So to actually qualify in the top 10 is bloody hard. Like the depth is massive.
I would agree with you on that. I think it's probably the top 15 is probably as deep as it's ever been for talent in a long time.
Yep.
Because as you say, I think on the weekend it might have been, it was like 6 tenths to 15th or something on a track that no one had been to.
Yep.
So they're all learning.
Yeah.
And missing corners and apex hunting and whatever. And
yeah. And I do think we need it with it. Someone's just said as well, all the parity shit has shown us that, this is Cassandra, T83 in our Patreon, all the parity shit has shown us is what drivers aren't pulling their weight. Top drivers have played musical chairs with manufacturers and are still doing good. That's true to an extent, but usually top drivers switch between top teams.
Yeah. Yep. It's a good point though. Like, okay, we saw Brody went from Erebus, won the championship. It's gone to DJR. It took a little bit of time, but now he's winning again.
But DJR's rebuilt with him. It's not just Brody.
No, correct. But I'm saying, yes, if they go to another good team with good resources, they can do it again. But if they go from Dave Reynolds won at Groves to Team 18, has he won a race yet?
No, but when they won at Groves, they had that ridiculous parity. Do you remember they switched it for the end of the year? I think it was 12 podium spots the last 3 rounds and 1 Chev got on the podium.
Oh, that might have been a bad example. But I was trying to find someone that's gone from a winning team to now not winning. Mark Winterbottom's a prime example. He went from Tickford
to Team 18.
Team 18, and it took him a while to win.
I think he won in his last season.
He won 1 or 2 races for Team 18, I think. One at Darwin or something. So that's an example to your point where if you don't go back to the same quality team, it doesn't always work.
Yeah.
But I do agree with Cassandra in the point that, the hard workers will grind it out and they'll make it work eventually.
Yep.
But yeah, it is. I mean, it's parity, right? It's always going to be a talking topic, and we're probably never going to get it right. Or there's always going to be things that change. Teams change, sponsors change, resources change, engineers change.
Yeah, and the question is too, like, what does Toyota do? Because like Woody at the moment is an anomaly in that car.
Well, yeah, and I think that was the point before. I probably got a sidetrack there, mate. You were saying
no, this is fun. It's just
you were saying about the Toyotas, like, you take Woody out and you go, fuck, do they need a couple more horsepower? Do they need a bit of aero? What do they need? Because the results.
Then is he just showing the potential of the car though?
Then the results,
which is like, so you go and say, well, Anton showed the potential of the car at Sydney. It's there. The potential's in the car. They're just not unlocking it.
Yeah.
So that's what surprises you when they get an upgrade too. So right now Toyota can't because you got Woody doing well.
I think Woody's definitely showing the potential because he's doing it constantly.
Yeah.
So back-to-back weekends he's been on the podium or been in a position to win a race.
Yep.
And even at the Grand Prix as well. So that's the last 3 rounds.
Yep.
The Toyota has been in a position to fight for a win or a podium. Chev's probably not as much, but again, what are the factors there? Is it team driver? What is it?
Fraser Hall has said, I honestly can't see Matt Payne doing better at Team 18. Groves are on the rise.
Holy shit, if I was Matt Payne, mate, and if that deal's happened, I'd be speaking to my guys saying, hey, how do we reverse this?
Yeah.
This is just me speaking. If it was me, I wouldn't trade a race-winning car. That team seemed to be in a real sweet spot, and I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. I think they will be able to fight for podiums regularly moving forward.
And from what we've heard, the deal is done.
Yeah, I would just
He's been testing the GM sim. He's been like IMSA's been promised to him.
Unless you're getting a real big carrot for IMSA or WEC or something that you're really trying to do in your career or IndyCar or whatever it is, I would be, if your goal's still to win a Supercar championship, I would be real hesitant if it was me at the moment, if I want to win one in the next 2-3 years. That's just me.
No, I agree. I think it's a bold move.
And you know, we've chatted about it. Money, if it's an extra, as an example, 100K, that ain't going to mean shit if you're running 5th and 6th and 7th, or if you can be spraying champagne every weekend.
Yeah. Well, and that was, I think Brody took it the wrong way when I was talking about like salary. It's great you're making that much money, but the deciding factor for your happiness, I feel like, as a competitor is always winning races.
Result.
And like Chaz right now, he'd be making great money, amazing money. But when Woody beats him, that would be making him unhappy or happy, like, you know, beating your teammate or whatever. That makes you more happy or unhappier than checking your bank balance on a Monday. Like, it just stops. I really feel like, because they make great money. It's not like you said, the extra 100, it's not going to change your day. And they're all so competitive. I guarantee Brody's way happier after round 2, 3, and 4 than he was after round 1. Salary hasn't changed. That was my point. It's like, that was all. I didn't mean anything like to take away from, like, fuck, I had someone say, can't believe you're whinging about drivers getting paid. I'm like, fuck. Like,
that's how you made a living.
You're kidding me, right? Like, but also my best year was by midway, I was pulling the parachute and I was so upset and depressed. I'm like, this is fucked. I hate my life. Because money doesn't, it's like, it's great, but at that level, it's not the deciding factor. So I think for Matty Payne too, it's like, it's great if it's like $1 million or maybe more, you know, awesome. But he's so good, he'll get that. And he'll get that with a long career too. And I think that if he's, after 6 months, you'd be like, shit, I really miss winning. Like, that's what matters to all these guys more than anything.
If he wins a championship this year for Ford, tell me he wouldn't be in a position to go back and ask for some, like, whatever he wanted. He could go do IMSA stuff or, so yeah, it's just, look.
I've heard a few things too on
it's a risk.
Team owners' approach to re-signing drivers. And there's different ways of doing it. Now, some team owners, this one in particular I was talking to, always said, like, when I have a driver I really believe in, I would actually forget the contract, right? If he's got a 3-year deal and at the end of year 1, he's done an amazing job and I'm like, fuck, like, this guy's a superstar, I'll go up to him and say, let's forget your contract. I'm actually going to extend you at +2, like, so it'll be a 4-year deal off the back of your 3, and we'll reset. You'll be paid X going forward, because you're like, you want to make sure he stays.
Feel valued.
And that's the thing. And so, you know, after year 1 of the contract, people are going to start making offers. And in this world, sometimes it's enough that the carrot might be big enough and they leave. So he goes, I would always go and lock them down a year before their end of their contract, or 2 years, not even allow them to come to me and go, hey, I've had another offer. I'd always go, fuck, the market's going to be hot for them. Yep. I want to lock them down. Now, I don't think Groves have done that, because I think, I'm not saying it's wrong, but Groves probably seems like expected a bit more respect on their end, because they helped support him through Super 2 and maybe some loyalty they thought might have come their way. And I think that's why, from what I've heard, they're upset, because they probably didn't think they had to put their hand in their pocket to keep him happy again. They'd
already forked out enough, they thought.
Yeah, and they thought maybe he'll stay loyal, and he has a contract till 27, which you should honour. But in this instance, carrot's big enough. So that's why this team owner I was chatting to, it was good to get the perspective on, like, look, it's not wrong how they've done it. This is probably how I would have done it, but it's business and everyone has a different approach to it. So, and
I'm not saying Groves have this way of thinking, but some teams too also think that their cars and they're the difference in the driver's not as an important tool as what we would value the driver at.
Yep.
So, and I'm not saying Groves are like that, but sometimes that will also be the reason why they're not getting on the front foot and going, well, this package is working, let's just lock it down.
Yeah.
You know, some people go, well, it's because of the engineers and the cars that we're prepping for them, and, you know, I could get 5 or 6 of the guys to jump into the same job.
Yeah, if
they leave, I'll get another winner.
Yeah.
And some people think that, others don't. Others take the other approach that you've mentioned, Scotty. That's why it's interesting. But, yeah, I just think Matty's in a real purple patch, Groves in a purple patch. It's a little bit of a risk.
Well, Kai Allen after the weekend is the biggest mover in the championship over the course of the Christchurch weekend, moving up 6 positions, also finding himself now with a 133-point buffer in the finals bubble. So that's huge, man. He's moved up.
So where do you
He won the round too. Like he did win the round.
Yeah, wow. Where did he finish last year in championship? Was it
Fourth, but
with finals? But I'm just saying on stats.
This is the cool thing now. I think he's fifth in the driver's title now. But the cool thing is this is based on season points. So last year he was out of the top 10. He finished out of the top 10 really in season points. I think last year 11th maybe.
Yep.
But this year his progression, like he showed in the finals too that like he got in there with the format. But once he was in, he 100% deserved to be there. Went to Adelaide and was
on it.
He was a top 5 contender, and that's what put him in the final 4 like that weekend. And he's come out this year. I think he's really actually surprised me because his qualifying speed's improved. It's still a bit of a deficit to Maddie, but Maddie's obviously one of the superstars and rookies, and Kai's still so young. But great to see the progression he's made now to be so safe inside the cutoff zone for that top 10 at the moment is massively improved from last year, which is very cool.
Yeah, and he's not that far behind Cam Waters, and just on car speed, clearly at the moment, Tickford are in a massive deficit to Groves for car speed.
Yeah,
Cam's just doing an amazing job in the racing.
Yeah,
so it actually wouldn't be that hard for Kai to jump into P4, looking at who's behind him currently.
Did you see the piss take I took about? And Andre qualified. So I was like, who's the B grade driver then? Yeah.
Yeah, it's always, I mean, you make those sometimes it bites in the ass.
It does. And I copped some hate for that. I was like, I didn't make the fucking statement, but I think Cam in the races that's where you show like his skill. I mean, what'd you say? He's 4th in the championship.
Cam's still 4th. Like, and their cars have not been top 10 for speed. And that sounds harsh, I understand, but you've got Cam, who's had pole awards before.
Yeah, it's just the car at the moment.
Like, it is what it is, and he's doing a great job. But yeah, geez, it looks grim for the bow ties, mate, because you got Anton 7th in the drivers' championship. The next Chev after him is 10th in Jack.
Yeah.
So there's only 3 Chevs in the top 15. So there's actually the same amount of Toyotas as there is Chevs in the top 15.
But like Jack LeBroc's in the top 10, isn't he?
Yeah, Jack's
and he's with MSR, whereas his teammate's a rookie with Zach Bates. So if you put 2 equal drivers in the MSR car, you've probably got 2 Chevs in the top 10 there.
Yeah, so you'd have 3 then at that point.
3. So that's not 30%. It's not too bad, really, in the top 10. But we have had a comment come in as well that at some point, it's from Johnny Ridgway, at some point can we talk about Triple Eight's mistakes in the pit lane and the radio dramas?
Johnny, hold on to your hat, son, because it's coming.
Hold on to your hat, because people will be surprised. This was in our notes. We were not going to ignore this because everyone calls me biased, but this is definitely out of...
you can say it too.
Mate, uncharacteristic dramas. We've got pit stop issues with the guns. Cool suits as well. They had them at Topor and round 1. So I'm talking about issues that have arisen over this season so far. Yeah. And then the radio dramas with Brock and uncharacteristically... pretty vocal on the radio. I thought the frustration was very clear, which I think
Angry Brock. It's the beard, I'm telling you.
Yeah. So, and the pit stop dramas, I don't know that I haven't spoken to anyone from the team yet, but I don't know if they ever got on top of it because I saw them changing guns in the race.
A couple of days, I think they were changing guns, weren't they? And pre one of the stops, they were actually undid a line, pissed a gun off, put another one on.
That was the one I saw, yeah. So I don't know.
I think that might have been on the Sunday too, but they had some faults or some issues on the Saturday as well, I believe.
Yep.
Which is just unlike Triple Eight.
Well, I don't know as well if they had to change crew. So across the 2 weeks, there was. I honestly thought everyone had a big bender after I saw the group chat going off, and everyone's asking for like sickness tablets and stuff. Like
they get the squirts,
dude. It was like the team chat was just going off, and I was like. I replied and tagged Nick. All I did was said, Nick, I think we've missed out on a great night. And then one of the other guys messaged said, no, like everyone's fucking
food poisoning. Got
food poisoning or it was like bloody gastro or something went through the team because they were all down after. And it was pretty funny because I just saw the messages and you're like, oh shit, it's actually, I thought it was a big night. Turns out everyone's actually real crook. So I'm not sure if fatigue had crept in or there's issues with swapping crew out. But it did seem like even when they fixed the dramas, like the wheel changes didn't seem as sharp as usual. So whether there's, you're maybe trying to make up time or you're frustrated or it didn't seem as flawless on those guys when they were under pressure. So, and then their car speed. I think Brody, give him credit, probably outperformed the Shell car, the DJR car.
I think Brody picked that thing up a little bit. It was obviously a fast car, but I think it probably maybe wasn't warranted the results that he got.
Yeah.
Maybe it was a 5th or 6th place car, but he was dragging that thing up to 2nd.
Well, and if Penrite didn't punch goals with their strategy, he probably would have won 2 races of the 4, Brody.
Yeah.
And when you saw the onboard, that thing had some entry instability. I laughed actually because, anyway, it was not the nicest car to drive, but then you've got as well Penrite absolutely kicked goals on the weekend. And now they've got the threat with the odd Blanchard car popping up.
Yeah.
T8 was 5th,
Well, I think
6th kind of across. That was sort of when Blanchard's executed, you got the 2 Penrite cars, Brodie probably punching above his weight a bit with the DJR car, and then one of the BRT cars would pop up, you know. It's,
to your point, Golding's ahead of Will Brown in the championship.
yeah, but Will's had...
I understand, but I'm just saying, like,
yeah.
like that shows that they're not far, but they're nipping at the heels. And if Triple Eight have an off day,
Yeah.
to your point, there is another Ford team that will fill a spot.
Yep. And then tyre wear too. Like this actually sounds like I've gone so far it's a beat up, but tyre wear has always been a strength for those guys. And I didn't actually think that Will's tyre wear in the race was that strong.
Yeah,
Like there's one shot on camera going into one. There was a bit of a freight train behind him. So it's just, I feel like it is though. It's just the nature is competitive right now. And everyone's punching with that Ford now. Like everyone's got it worked out.
Yeah. And I guess they've only, 3-4 rounds into running a Ford. It's new to them. It's not like they've been doing, so, okay, we'll give them a little bit of grace. It is.
And the hard thing is they probably, because they won round 1, it's like, oh, they're just going to continue in the way.
Security, yeah, a little bit maybe.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's but I didn't want to, so that comment there, I don't worry, I wasn't going to ignore it because I do get bloody accused of that all the time. But when there's something to talk about, like their pit stop dramas and maybe their speed that's not, like they're still 4th, really, outright speed. But we talked about this earlier before we came on the pod. I wonder how many races Brock had won by this point last year in the season.
They're definitely not as dominant as they were last year at this point in the year.
But you raise a good point. It's round.
It's early days. It's a
of
new
the
car for them. They all had the shits.
We'll look at DJR when...
We'll let it slide.
What's that? Yeah.
They all had food poisoning. We'll let it slide.
Yeah. But even DJR, like you look, it took them a long time. And then even when Brodie brought his crew over, it's taken them till now to feel like they're on top of it with that. And they probably still didn't feel like it at the weekend, even though they won.
Well, and we sound like we're beating them up. And I don't want to get Brock upset, but Brock did win the JR Trophy.
We've got to be careful with Brock because he's not afraid of calling us out. He did.
He did. So
I'll let you run through the...
Congratulations, Brock. You managed to do it. You didn't actually win a race across the 2 rounds. You had 2nd and 4th at Taupo, Ruapuni at P10, P5, P2, so you nearly did, and P3. But you obviously won the JR Trophy, so congratulations. It was coming down to the wire there. Brodie was hungry for it, and it was probably looking like maybe he might have been able to get it done, but then he got absolutely bowled wide by Chaz.
Yeah.
And that put him off, and that was day done. And obviously Woody was looking really good too. Woody had a TPS, I think it was a throttle position sensor fail, is what they said on the radio, and he was cruising. He was only laps away from being home as well. Yeah. So that was obviously heartbreaking for Woody. I think a little bit of a shame in the fact that it would have been great to see Woody, a Kiwi, win that trophy again for JR. But
what about Matty?
Well, and Matty Payne.
Yeah, because I was going to say, like Matty Payne as well, I feel like he didn't even get a mention in that, but if it wasn't for the wheel coming off, he would have won it.
Yeah.
Like it would have been his way.
Yeah, correct. So, I guess the Kiwis got a little bit unlucky, and Brock got lucky with that. So,
But then as well, I was actually thinking too, at the end of the race, remember Brock got screwed with that safety car. He lost like 4 or 5 spots there. Because Brodie was trying to pass for the win in that JR. That's what happened with him and Chaz. But Brock would have had that comfortably if it wasn't for the safety car. So it's kind of like a weekend of bloody ups and downs for everyone.
Everything was getting thrown up in the air and juggled around, wasn't it really, for a couple of the key contenders. So there's probably 4 or 5 that could have won the JR Trophy.
How do you feel about I guess with Brodie, he was being aggressive trying to get that place off Chaz to win the JR Trophy. What do you think of the whole incident?
I agreed with your floating head, talking head video, mate. I thought Brodie's pass on Chaz was textbook.
Was all right, yeah.
To me, mate, that's tin top, that's touring car racing.
Yeah.
That was absolutely nothing wrong. To me, it just, so I don't want to rinse and repeat what you said, mate, but it looks like the frustrations are coming through on Chaz to me. Maybe because he's playing second fiddle to Woody, who knows? But, yeah, that was the second weekend he's done that now where he just turned left into someone on the straight. He went for the old, the wheels get interlocked, sort of fucking cheap card that. And I thought, mate, it's been done now. Like that was the third swerve at him was where it locked.
Yeah, yeah.
Not the first. I know it sounds harsh, but to me it just looks like he's a pissed off race car driver. We've all been there. And I know from myself, when you do stuff like that, it's because you've got the shits.
Yeah.
There's no other reason why you do that stuff. Like when
Your
you do
fuse
this,
is already short and one thing tips you over.
you're having a bad day and you go, fuck this guy, and you do something stupid like that. And unfortunately for Brodie, it did grab him on the last one and sent him.
Yeah.
And he did a good job of not piling into the cars that were coming through the corner and doing what he did. And obviously also he was lucky he didn't make the embankment on the other end. But to me, it looked pretty shit house.
I think the way Brodie has spoken about it since too, I don't think he's overly stoked with the way Chaz has handled it. He's still saying that Chaz was angry about the incident. But even if you are.
What incident?
Yeah, but even if you are, that the way you react, you still got to say, I reacted wrong. Like the way I reacted wasn't right. And we have all been there. Like we've all
I don't buy it.
Looked back and gone, I shouldn't have swerved at him, and sometimes you do and you get away with it. You bang doors like what happened at Topol with him and Brock, and you never think of it again, But then it is funny because Woody, we said at the Melbourne Grand Prix, and I spoke to Murph about it, he swerved at Thomas Randall coming on the front straight in qualifying and smashed into his door. I'm like, they got to stamp this shit out. Yeah. Because what's happened is like Woody was the first to do it at Melbourne Grand Prix. He swerved at him in qualifying, which he was like 12 seconds or 13 seconds off making the flags. It had nothing to do with Randall passing him into the last corner in qualifying. Like you fucked your run. You didn't get the time.
Had the shits.
Angry, boiled over, swerved at him and smashed into his door, which nothing kind of came of it as an accident. So you sort of let it go. Then Chazzy does it to Brock and nothing happens of it. They laughed about it, made content about it.
Yeah.
And then obviously someone could have been hurt because if they were 10th and there was another 5 cars in front of him, Brodie's going through the door of someone.
Well, it would have been a Premat and James Courtney at Phillip Island where he broke his leg is what could have happened. Yep. That style of crash. To me, doing that, swerving at someone on a straight, and I've had it done in America, it shits me to tears. That's when you go down and you spray them.
You're just tearing shit up for no reason.
But it's worse than moving under brakes. Because you're in a straight line. Like the easiest part of the racetrack is the straight.
Yeah.
There should be no contact on a straight unless it's bump drafting because you're trying to push someone past someone to get a run. But side to side stuff should not happen in a straight line.
Yeah.
And it should be, adjudicated heavily because in my opinion, it's worse than moving last minute under brakes and causing a crash.
Definitely, yeah. And that's why I said too that I thought the 30-second penalty was light because one, he actually still finished in front of Brodie. So 30 seconds wasn't even enough to put the guy you're disadvantaged in front of you again. Brodie lost the championship lead. So it's like there's those that make it not enough. But also, I looked at the Brock Feeney thing where Brock got on the throttle right and spun and caused a bigger crash from what was going to happen. Subjective about that, whether it would have been better or worse, I don't know. But the feedback was Brock should have locked it down in that moment at the Melbourne Grand Prix instead of getting on the gas. He got so much Beardo did a video about it, almost being like, this is like the worst, these kids today, this is like the worst thing we've ever seen. We're going to stamp it out of our sport. We're going to come down hard. To be honest, that was fucking nothing. Like, he made a mistake, and everyone's going to say, again, like, this is the frustrating thing talking about it because people say it's because it's Brock or Triple Eight.
I can say it.
But he got on the gas thinking in that moment, this is my best way to get going with it, right?
Yeah.
And by getting going with it, he means not wreck. So someone could say, oh, he just didn't want to crash. Of course he fucking didn't. He wanted to keep racing. So he's trying to get back in a race in the best way he thought possible, right? If he got on the brake, he felt in that moment it was going to be the wrong call. When he watched it on the vision, he said to us straight away, oh, yeah, I probably should have locked it down, which is why I did a piss take saying with the power of fucking television,
you can't see.
We can all make the right decision in hindsight.
Well, you don't have a bird's eye view when you're in the race car, do you?
Yeah. But the point is they're coming down so hard on that. And then this hasn't even been a headline about the behaviour behind the wheel. No. And that was pure frustration and intent. That's why I think Brodie called it malice. There was malice in it.
Yeah, well, it's piss weak that it has been treated differently because the difference with Brock's too, Brock actually got turned around. He was trying to...
He'd already been crashed into.
He'd been crashing and was trying to recover from being shunted.
Yeah.
Where this was causing a shunt.
Yep.
So the fact they went so hard on Brock for doing nothing wrong because he just got shunted and was doing what he thought was the best thing in a split-second decision.
Yeah. This would be like coming down hard on Brodie versus his re-entry after being shunted off.
Yeah, versus causing an accident.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere. So, it's bizarre. I didn't know that Chaz still finished ahead of Brodie. That's the first thing you do. And if they can't because he's stalled and he's there then you do a points penalty or something. But they cannot leave with more points or a higher position than the bloke that you've just shafted off and nearly rid off his car.
Well, and I hate saying like a penalty should be harsh on a driver because we want to be pro-driver, but at the same time, you've got to stamp it out because one of the videos we posted on our old Instagram account before it was deactivated was actually a go-karter swerving at another go-karter, they were kids. And he hit this kid, but it gripped and the wheels interlocked, like grabbed each other and it spun him and he hit a flag marshal and got torn out of the car. It was real serious. He was okay, but you look at that and you're like, we're setting an example, not me anymore. I'm bloody not full-time, but those guys now. You set an example, right? And there are kids that idolise Chaz and they see him go, oh, I got my fucking elbows out. They might think it's cool. But the sport then needs to step in and go, no, this is not acceptable.
Yeah, at club days now, he's probably just cost 10 or 15 parents
kids.
side pods and sticker kits because people are going, I love Chazzy, I'll do what Chazzy does. Fuck, see ya, bang.
Yep.
You mark up the brand new sticker kit, old man's fuming, he's getting grounded.
Yeah, exactly. So I just thought maybe stamp it out. Probably gone off on about it enough because I don't want Chaz to get absolutely roast for it. He made a decision in the heat of the moment. We've all make it personal.
Yeah, we've all made shit decisions. Everyone with a helmet on at some point gets red mist and it happens.
Fuck, I've made...
So we've all
I laughed on the pod with Murph. I said, I've probably done more than ever. And he was like, no, I'll stop you there, Scotty. I've definitely done more than you. Like, I've made more. But, but we make reactionary decisions in the heat of the moment when your heart rate's flying and they're split seconds.
Yeah.
If he could relive it, he'd do something different.
I'm sure he would.
I think if the penalty's harsher, you kind of, you do have the space to reconsider it. So don't go making it personal if you're commenting, because I've seen some stuff. You can debate what penalty you should have got or if you shouldn't have done it, but I saw some people saying about like the no social hate thing. I'm like, that's got nothing to do with Chaz's like morals. He just was angry in that moment, made a mistake.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
And I'm sure he regrets it massively.
Teams points, mate?
Yeah.
So Red Bull Ampol Racing currently leading. They're on 15.57. Penrite Racing 15.47, so not that far behind. Mobile One Truck Assist and Mobile One Optus Racing are in third. So Toyota team is in third on 12.91. Monster Castro Racing fourth. Shell V-Power in fifth. And then the first of the Chevy teams is DeWalt and Snow River Racing in sixth.
Did we tick off any of the championship order?
Didn't we? Yeah, we talked through
Drivers?
it. Yeah, we talked through it.
But we didn't really say, like, because Brody lost the championship lead to Brock.
Well, you can...
Brock's now leading. Matty Payne's P3.
Tell us about it.
Take it away. I guess
please.
we did. I was like, you've just skipped straight to teams in the order I had here, mate. Our slide, you wonder how we prepped for this, guys. We're so pro. This is 37 pages, this document.
That's why I'm lost.
But Brock Feeney is leading the championship now. Brody Kostecki second. Matty Payne third. Cam Waters fourth. Just missed a consistency this year. Kai Allen's jumped up to fifth. And then the first non-Ford is Ryan Wood in sixth with the Toyota. Anton seventh, the Chevy. Golding is doing a mega job, actually, still holding it up there. He's in eighth. Ninth, Will Brown. Jack LeBrock, P10. I think the one that's going to be frustrating still is Aaron Cameron after the weekend. He can qualify a race car. But I hope, when you start trying to fix things, you're not... Like the races, you just can't change it yet. It's just be patient and time, I think.
Sometimes it's luck. Sometimes it's like...
Yeah, you have a bad run and you can get yourself in more shit trying to not get in trouble.
Yeah, and I don't think everything that's been caused has been bad luck for him. I'm sure there's things he could have done to avoid some things. But, yeah, to your point, you can't try and change and then you end up stiff and then you end up driving not how you would normally do. You just got to be loose and free.
I think the biggest thing is probably just focus on his race starts. Because even he said, if I didn't make a bad start, I wouldn't have got caught up in that lap one drama. Qualify well, get off the line. So I'd just go, I did it in one of my last years at Team 18, me and Phil Keed, went to Winton with Frosty's data and we just spent half a day bloody tearing through clutches, rolling around, starting, and my procedure got way better. And it helps my confidence too. I used to bloody, you end up
getting
the line. So you can definitely work on those things. I think race starts allow you to be on the offense from the moment the light goes out rather than being out all on defense. And that's when you get in the shit, isn't it?
It's when someone turns you around, does something stupid.
NASCAR, mate. Wrap these off. These ones are short, right? So bear with us. We've got NASCAR and IndyCar, but NASCAR was really like a 3-lap dash.
Not a lot to talk about. They were at Kansas. Last 3 laps were pretty cool.
Mate, it was like 3.5 hours of green. I did say to you at the pub before this, I said that if I tuned in for that as my first oval race, that's when NASCAR people. So less ovals, more road courses. But that is where the fans, that's why they created these gimmicks with the stage racing and they tried to go to the finals, because when you have races like this at Kansas, it's 3 hours of sitting there with absolutely nothing happening.
I'm sure that Cody Ware's just put out there to cause the late cautions. I reckon he's paid by NASCAR and like, right, mate, this one's been no good. Just spin her out now, please. Spin her out now.
Well, imagine if he didn't. It would have just...
Well, Denny
your boy would have won. Your boy would have won.
11 versus the world would have won, but...
he blew a tyre, though.
Reddick...
And apparently he did 60 laps, Cody Ware.
Yeah, so I saw...
Denny was talking about that, going, why did his team... It's like
I saw on
$2,000 for a set of tyres.
Door Bumper Clear, Tommy, his crew chief, is on Door Bumper Clear.
Right.
And I saw him apologising to the other guys today because the other guys work for 23.11. And that shit's like, you cost our boss a fucking win. What's your problem? And he was like, yeah. And he just only says, my
Worked
bad.
for Gibbs, you mean? 23.11 got the win.
No, because Denny owns 23.
Oh, sorry. Cost our boss. Yeah, sorry, mate. Yep.
But he was saying basically, he just said it was on him. They had a bit of a dick, stuff up throughout the day, and he was trying to make it back, but he realised now in hindsight, again, hindsight's a beautiful thing, right? But he said, we probably should have just called him in and got some tyres on earlier. But he was trying to fix the stuff up from throughout the day, and it just unfortunately
6 laps down though, like
he wasn't in it, and they should have just known, mate. And he's running for nothing and anything.
Yeah.
Anyway, just bring him in, throw a set of bloody good years on it, and away he goes.
And that's what, like Denny said on his pod, he didn't understand why. He kind of apologised too, which is good, because he said in the post race he was obviously very frustrated, like Cody, where he's like 6 laps down. Why is he? What the fuck, man? Like, you spin. But he didn't realise he'd had the tyre failure, and also didn't realise how many laps he'd done on the race. So he's like, I actually put it back on the team. And he said as well, they're smaller. Like Rickware Racing, it's a small team. So the risk of, and I think they were trying to work out in the pod, and someone in the comments might know, but they've got a they've got pre-allocated tyres for the race weekend have to purchase, but I don't think they only have to purchase like 80 or 90% of them.
Right.
So there's like something that, and that's where they're like, maybe, because Danny said it's like $2 or $3 grand for a set of tyres. Why wouldn't they just pit him and throw them on when you run the risk of tearing up your race car? But then Jared, I think, who's on there with him, he said, that's when he said, I think you got to pay from all up front or maybe a percentage. So maybe that wasn't the deciding factor. But nonetheless, like Denny's point about not being able to afford to fix a fucked race car,
I don't think that's...
you got to take that into account.
I think with how much shit he tears up, the money's probably not the problem.
Okay.
But I just think, like your point, mate, I think it was on the team, and the team just made a shit decision to keep him out there. And it ended up costing Denny a win. But it did give Tyler Reddick his 5th of the season. First time since Dale Earnhardt, since like the 80s, that he's won 5 out of the first 9 races.
87.
Yeah.
87. What a wild stat. And that was in a generation where those cars had variants. So to do it in this next gen era is crazy.
Unbelievable. So he's on a real hot streak.
It's clearly got some kind of different Kool-Aid.
Yeah, Michael Jordan was there again. Every time he turns up, he wins. But other than that, really, the last 3 laps were cool. Larson, after Cody West spun, there was a late caution, restart. Larson actually got to the lead. Reddick actually was like half in the fence and like 5th with a lap to go.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it, man.
And it's just like he's hit the NOS button or something, and he somehow just got this run back going again. And even before the caution, he was in the fence and he thought he was out of fuel, and he went to pump 2. To the reserve tank, thinking he was out of juice. So it was looking like it was completely over with like 4 or 5 laps to go for Reddick, and then he comes back and wins it.
Well, on that lap, when he got in the fence and had to switch to pump 2, he lost the lead to Denny.
Yep.
Denny blows the doors off him while he's gathering in the fence, and then half a lap, not even, he's actually reeling him back in.
Back into it. It was like two corners. They're like, he's out of juice. And then 10 seconds later, like, now he's making a charge back, and you're like, what's going on?
And I know the draft is huge, but I couldn't believe he's coming back at him so fast. And Denny on his pod said, he told Michael in the lead up to the event that like nothing, unless something out of the ordinary happens, I'll win the race. Like it's just where I'm so strong at that place. And then he's like, so really it was just like, it was out of the ordinary. Of course that happened, but I should have won that race. I had so much up my sleeve. And watching the race, I'm like, but I don't know, dude. Like it didn't look like Reddick could do anything wrong. And we've said like a good car pulls you out of bad strategy sometimes. I feel like he made things happen in the race that just... the good car pulls you out the shit, like it just does. He gets in the fence, he nearly runs out of fuel, loses the lead, got lucky with the caution. But when you said on the end, like he dropped back to 5th or something and reeled in Larson, poor Larson, you could see his thing must have been so tight.
Because he couldn't get, like, as if you're leaving the door open. Like he
just could not get a turn.
Yeah,
he had no mid-corner speed. But, Reddick just blew everyone away. Hamlin had a run at the end on the last lap, but stuck in the fence, just did not lift. And, of course, last lap he said, I'm not lifting. But that would have been the only other one that was interesting. And maybe if Reddick got in the back of Seabell, and so maybe Seabell could have been in contention, but it does not matter what happens right now. He can get himself out the shit and be back in contention like half a lap later.
I did like that with as soon as he crossed the line, he said, woo, celebrate his win, well done, boys. But he said, I feel real bad for the 20, sorry, didn't like. And obviously, yes, they're Toyota camp, so there's a little bit of politics in that. I understand that, but kind of nice that he was still like, even in his speech afterwards, he was like, yep, just want to apologise, Seabell, he would have been in contention today.
Yeah. Yep.
Shit happens, sort of thing. So that was kind of good. Shows the quality of the guy, I think, from what we know anyway. But yeah, so Reddick's on a real real charge. And 2311, we've been there, mate.
I was just see shows the quality of the guy. We don't know him at all. Could be a complete
He
jerk.
could be a real prick, but you know what? I think he's a stand-up guy.
But yeah, Shane led the way for Trackhouse as well. Murph actually said to me on Monday, what do you reckon, like, if he was in a top car, like, it makes you wonder, like, Ross Chastain's good on the ovals, right? And Shane is doing real well against him at the moment still. And it's hard to hear that Trackhouse is in a rebuilding phase. As fans of Shane and mates, you want to see him do well.
Here's a bold call for you.
He's just on a long-term deal. Don't tell me he's...
Nah, if Shane was in a Spire car this year or a Hendrick Chev, I reckon he would have won a race by now. On an oval, sorry.
Yeah.
And that's, I'm not shitting on Trackhouse, are just their smaller team, they're still sorting it out.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying if he was in the top Chev, which is probably for speed Spire, like Hocevar does real well, and Hendricks obviously, I wouldn't be surprised. I think he would have.
And the car is so important. Like, I think you put him in Reddick's car and it's the same, almost the same.
Put him in put him in 23. Put him in Bubba's car.
Yeah.
He's won 1 or 2 on ovals this year. It's my personal opinion. And whether he's a mate or not, that's just, I genuinely believe that.
Yeah. Fuck. It's hard. It's hard to, yeah. It would be cool to see him get a shot in it. And he might not just because he's done an extension at Trackhouse and...
Oh, they can turn it around. They can get their stuff.
They can, yeah. And hopefully they do. I think
they've won ovals before.
I did hear a rumour that they might be switching manufacturer.
Oh, yeah.
That was a fucking Reddit forum said, and so
It's got to be true then.
there could literally be nothing in it, but someone was just saying
I've
about
read
that,
some
and I was
pretty
like,
wild articles about Shane while over there that are all AI based.
yeah.
Right?
But who knows? IndyCar result. So, yeah, Shane actually in the race had no pace, by the way, just and it ran green the whole way. So there was no way to get his laps back in the caution, which is why you had people finishing 5 laps down. But he just fell through the field pretty much gradually. Yeah. Sorry if I got the details wrong in there, Shane, but it looked like you were pretty slow. And, yeah, finished up back in the 30s. So disappointing after qualifying quite well.
IndyCar Long Beach, talk us through it, Scotty.
Palou has now won 11 from the last 22 races since the start of last year.
50% chance of winning
since the start of last year. Like, that's a long time to be, dominating. And he's now leading the championship again. So he got the dub. He did get the lead off Rosenquist in the stops. So Rosenquist was doing a good job. He poled it. Yep. Was leading the whole way. And then there was a caution for debris on the track. Came in for the stops. Palou has had a preferred stop in that one, like preferred spot in the pit lane.
Yep.
So that helped him out, and he managed to get track position over Rosenquist and pulled out like a 4.5 second lead or something to the flag. But, mate, he's just like, there's like...
He needs to have a crack at F1. If he could get into a decent car, I'd love to see what he could do.
It's sad, isn't it? Because you just got to be in a good car.
Yeah. Well, that's like, especially now, you got to be in a Merc, right? Like,
yeah. Like, you look at Oscar, if he was in Alpine, he'd be like, oh, yeah, he's not... No one would be like, he's a superstar.
He'd probably be done by now.
It probably, yeah, actually. Colapinto would be in.
Which is sad to think because he nearly won the championship last year.
Yeah, yeah. And that's why, it'd be cool to see him get in it. But hopefully if he ever did get the opportunity, he would be in a good car. But Palou is definitely a freak. Same as Reddick. Like, I mean, the runs they're having in a championship that's so controlled, I think is really impressive. So he's just flawless. And the team too, like their pit stops are really good. And even Rosenquist said, like, you can't even count on him having a bad stop at the moment.
Yeah. Again, another bold statement from me tonight. IndyCar's better than F1.
Yeah. I know,
at the moment, I know you're going to hate me saying that. But
no, I actually
at the moment, I was watching it going, fuck, this is good. Like, I actually do really enjoy open wheel racing again.
If you're wondering where to watch it to, Stan is where you can watch it here in Australia. But yeah, you're right. Like, it does break my heart a little bit because I've started to question what makes Formula One the pinnacle. Because as a competitor, you don't care about the star power we talked about before with salaries and stuff. Those guys are so wealthy now. Like,
yeah, I've got no interest.
I don't think they've got investments outside. Like someone said, they're just going to do it for the money or whatever. But like Max definitely wouldn't. No. If he's not enjoying it. He's made like $100 million last year.
He could sell his plane and live forever.
Yeah. Like their investment, they put it in the bank and make $10 million a year off that. So I think that, and they live in Monaco, they're tax free. So I don't know that that's a motivating factor for a lot of the guys. And it has made me start to wonder, like, what is Formula One actually the pinnacle of motorsport anymore? Because if it is just about who can develop the best battery powered fucking thing, like it's not.
That's where the
It's not what makes car racing. And IndyCar's hybrid. Like, they've got a really good mix. You hear them doing their lift and coast. It doesn't sound too different to fuel saving and things. It's actually like that little bit at the end of the lane where we see that in supercars. You lift and coast in areas so you can save yourself a second in the pit stop or whatever it might be. That's motorsport. That's part of it. But when it's 50-50 like Formula One, I think it's gone so far in the way of like video game. Like, it's too much, and they're using these boost modes, which I think IndyCar's got like 200 seconds you can use over the race. Is that right? 200 seconds, I think you just push the pass. But it never seems like it's enough that they can just blow the doors off someone and then be vulnerable after it. So,
yeah, and I think that's where, I know it's in the DNA of Formula One about manufacturing cars, but this is the benefit you get when you don't manufacture the chassis. Yeah. And then you can have different multiple engines if you like. IndyCar's that. Yeah. Like the Gen 3 era of Supercars, the racing becomes closer. NASCAR's done it. Racing becomes closer.
The thing is as well, someone, Carl has popped in our chat, F1 for me has always been about the engineering, but then they make the regs that don't truly allow innovation. I think that Formula One always has been, but it's had motorsport in its...
Well, it's woke innovation now.
yeah, but it's not like combustion engines. Like, I think it's like raw grunt and grip, and then finding out how can we get more grip and more grunt. Like, but I guess the batteries, that's what they're trying to do. But it just seems...
Well, no, they're only going down that path.
To be green.
If they didn't have to worry about being green, mate, there wouldn't be...
But I'm trying to take my hat off about like combustion and going, like, if you go, forget the type of engine that creates the power and stuff. What is the difference if you're not a petrol head, that loves burning rubber and burning fume, like creating fumes? It's like, so Formula One's not that bad if you're not that type of fan. Like Formula One has always been the pinnacle of engineering, but I feel like it's been raw engines and grip, with a heap of downforce, granted. And that's why you have some cars shit, some cars good. But I feel like now it's like, it's more about how you can optimize the usage of your battery and stuff. But then someone could say, well, what's the difference there between a car that had more downforce in the past?
So for me, Formula One as a kid, was fan experience. Because I remember going to Melbourne as a young fella and like, fuck, it's loud. You're having to block your ears.
Yeah.
And having that, and then that to me was always, F1 was like, yep, they're loud, they're awesome. You feel it through you when you're sitting there. And then it's a bit like going to the drags, watching a top door slam or something. It's that brings you into it. And then my wife worked at the Grand Prix this year in a corporate thing, and she was like, why are Porsches louder than Formula One? Yeah. And because she's not a race fan, right? So she's like, I don't get it. Yeah. And I think, yes, I know where they're going with it, but you need to feel it. You need that emotive factor to make you go to GPs and buy merch and spend $300 on a hat and all that sort of shit. And they're missing that.
Yeah, and Formula One was like, it was a visceral experience. I think Formula E has, like, it's not. Like, Formula E is what Formula One's becoming. And like, I know it was a joke at the start when Max said this is like Formula E on steroids, but it has gone.
Well, that's why I'll watch the GP in Melbourne at the pub unless I get given tickets. Because I go out, I can't hear things anyway. I don't get that feeling, so I may as well just watch and have the commentary and actually know what's going on in the race from the TV. Yep. We got sidetracked there. We were talking IndyCar, but anyway.
Yeah, it's been a great pub chat tonight. But now, you may be right. IndyCar's better. We're at the AASA National Round this weekend.
We are.
So if you're interested in keeping an eye on what we're up to, we are hosting the High Tech Oils National Round for... what?
I hope I don't bloody sidetrack that like I have tonight.
Yeah, the races are on and we are just still talking absolute rubbish. But we are hosting, we're commentating some races as well. I'll be in the booth for Formula Ford. So looking forward to that. So if you want to check that out, take a look at Clay Per View. I'll put the link in the description of this podcast. Yeah. And also take a look at the AASA website because that has all the information around the racing this weekend. Yeah. AASA is actually doing a very good job. They're really pushing competitor first. They're trying to make sure that at this grassroots level, drivers are getting the maximum bang for buck. Yep. And this weekend's unique, right? It's 40 grand prize money for the Legends race, 10 grand to the winner. Yep. And they've got heat races. They've gone to like a sprint car format for qualifying. So the grid, you got to race for your position to get into it.
It's 24 races over the 2 nights, mate.
It's night races,
it's
Saturday and
compressed
Sunday.
to about 4 hours a night.
Yep.
So over 8 hours if you like, 24 races. So it's just non-stop action, which is very different. If you've watched motor racing in Australia lately, there's usually a bit of fill time. Not the case. So I'm actually glad, Scotty, because it means we won't have to pad or fill too much in.
Yeah.
It'll just be race. So it'll be good.
Yeah, so check that out. I will put the link in the description for both, actually, AASA, so you can take a look at the work they're doing because it's very different, their approach to Motorsport Australia, but I'm actually a big fan of there being competition here in Australia too between governing bodies, making sure that AASA is putting their hand in their pocket to actually try and award some prize money to the competitor because they appreciate, like Marcus Ambrose appreciates, they're the ones that put on the show.
Yep.
And I think that if you have a body doing that, then the other governing body might have to react, and then the winner out of it all is the competitor.
Correct.
Right? And if we can put on a better show, then the fans are winners as well. So, very excited for this weekend. It's going to be different. We are hosting, but it's going to be like a podcast. We're live. It's going to be live streamed.
Yep.
Sorry, is that what you're going to say?
Yeah, I was going to say we one of the requirements when we said, hey, we'll come do it, but we need to put our flavour on it. It needs to be like AHU. You're going to be able to engage with us. So if you are on pay-per-view, you will be able to chat to us live while we're hosting and commentating the races like you are tonight through our Patreon. So it'll feel like we're here at the bar, yet we'll just be at Sydney. So definitely worth doing. Would love for you guys to jump on board and come hang out with us while we're doing it because it's a first for us and it's a world first, as I said on the last show. I'm sticking to that.
I actually think it would nearly be a world's first, though, where fans, and we've said this before, I think broadcast has got to go down the direction of being more engaging with fans, like what streamers do. And I reckon if you can start commenting and the broadcaster, the guy, the expert calling the race, is watching the comment section and being able to actually answer your questions while calling the race, I think that's the next step in creating engaging motorsport content. And that's what we want to try and do. We want you to be a part of the conversation. So if you are tuning in, don't be afraid to comment, send us your thoughts. Unless you think we're doing a shit job, then just...
We can tell us that too.
No, keep that to yourself. No, and I don't need to hear constructive criticism. It's fine. Just pump my tyres up no matter what. All right, good night, everyone. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks, Hunters.